Hello adventurers, and welcome back my friends to another video on my little channel. In this video I'm going to be using a few inks to really boost the vibrancy of a model that I've already painted. So here we have Skitter Stab Stamp, which is one of the Blood Bowl star players. This is one of the Skaven star players. A really great dynamic pose, and I've already painted the model and it looks okay, it looks good. But what we're going to do, we're just going to use 3 different inks to really boost the vibrancy. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a purple color. This is going to boost the vibrancy of his trousers and the purple tones. We're then also going to use a portrait pink, which is a really great color to really boost the vibrancy of the skin tones. And I'm also going to use this really great olive green, which is going to really push those greens on the cloak into another level. So the idea with this is we're going to try to use these inks to really boost the vibrancy by using just a little bit of ink and a little bit of water, and then this is really going to allow the contrast and things of the model to really push. So we're going to start with the portrait pink and just speeding this up very slightly. That's all we're going to do. Like I say, I've used 1 blob of the pink, 1 blob of the water, so this is 50-50, so just watered this down slightly. And the cool thing with inks is they are thin enough in terms of their color that when they go onto the miniature, it allows the underneath color to show through. And what this gives you is the ability to do something called kind of glazing, which means you use very thin layers and multiple thin layers to really boost that vibrancy. So you can place 1 layer and that will give you a little bit of a vibrant boost. But as you sort of apply 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers and control where those highlights are going to be, this allows you to really push that contrast. So we can really control how much we want this brightness and this sort of light to catch on sort of areas of the model. So as you can see with the skin, I'm just focusing mostly around things like the feet and around the face, so just around the cheekbones and things like that. Just thinking about where I'd want the light to catch on the skin, and I'm trying to be as very careful as I can using the very tip of the brush. And again, like I say, because these are thinned down paints and the inks are thinned down quite nicely, this is going to allow for the vibrancy to really show through. What you're going to find is they will take to the model really easily, and you're going to find that they will appear much lighter when you apply them to when they dry. So as you apply these inks, they may look really bright at first, but as they dry down, they are going to leave a little bit of that underlying color show through. So they're not going to take over the model, they're not going to overdo the model, and this is where using those multiple layers is really going to show through. So once we've done the skin, just using the purple, then I'm just going to use this again, using the same thing, just half and half, so half of the purple, half of the water, and that's all I'm going to do is just using the tip of the brush as normal. I'm just going to slowly pick out how I want the vibrancy to really show through on the purple areas. So on things like his chest part, his clothing around the chest area and his stomach, and around the legs and things like that as well. Now you can be really careful with this. You can sort of apply this on all of those raised areas. You could just apply this on all of those folds and really pick out the real extreme sort of edge highlights and things like that if you want to. Or you can use it to really boost that vibrancy between sort of the lighter tone and the darker tone. So with the darker tone is just in the recess points, and the lighter tone just on those raised parts of the folded edges and things like that. And again, as I say, don't worry too much because they will appear a lot lighter than what they actually are. So when you apply or place this onto your models, they will sort of dry down in a sort of nice even fashion as well. They may look a little bit too over the top to begin with, but they do tone down quite nicely. So I've opted with quite a bright purple here on top of that dark purple. And I mean, you don't have to go that extreme if you wanted to. You could subtly build up to a nice sort of lighter purple first on the model before applying your inks. But I'm just showing you sort of an example as to how I've painted the inks on this one, just to really boost those colours, as I say. And again, using the brush strokes, you can really see how thin the paint actually is. When applying it to the legs, you can see the darker colours underneath still showing through, so giving me that transition and giving me a nice smooth sort of blend and a nice subtle sort of colour tone transitioning onto the model as well. So these are normal artist inks. I mean, you could buy and use sort of inks from different paint manufacturers. I know a lot of the paint companies use their own inks. Vallejo has got a great ink set and things like that as well. Also with the scale 75, they do great inks as well. But you can use just ordinary artist inks. These are still just These are still just acrylic inks, and they still apply in a very similar fashion. So you could buy these quite easily pretty much anywhere on like Amazon or on the internet or in any normal good craft store. You should be able to buy inks as well. Now finally, we're just going to use that olive green, and as you can see, I've got this sort of jade green cloak applied already, so I've already painted the cloak up using all of these different brush strokes to show off the highlighted points and the highlighted patches. And using this sort of olive green, I'm just going to apply this to the very extreme sort of highlights, the areas that I really want the cloak to really show through and really have this extreme sort of contrast. And again, just using multiple layers to really build up that vibrancy. You can see there where I've just applied 2 layers rather than 1, just how much that vibrancy and that color is really sort of popping on the miniature as well, really showing that green tone. Now don't forget, as I say, they do dry down a little darker than you apply, so multiple layers will allow you to really control that vibrancy and where you want that color contrast to be controlled and where you want it to sit and things like that. There you go, you can see just how thin the inks actually are, just as I'm applying across the bottom part of the cape there. And again, it's just about using your brush strokes to really control where you want the light source and how you want the light to show through and how vibrant you want it to be. It gives you a little bit of fun sort of to control the paint in this way, and it allows you to have a little bit of freedom with how much you want to add those extreme highlights and those extreme contrast points as well. So there you go, you can see just how simply I'm just applying this and how much of an effect it has straight away. It looks like it's creating this really extreme vibrant tone, but again, like I say, it will dry down a little bit more even than that. You can see the purple there and the green, and when it's all done, it should come out a little like this. You can see that purple isn't so extreme, it doesn't look so over the top, and the green is toned in really nicely. There we go, my friends, that's a nice quick video on how I'm inking and how to do some inking and adding normal artist inks into your palette to create that great contrast. Thanks as always for watching and tuning in. I really appreciate everything you do here. Take care of yourselves. If you enjoyed this video, just tap that like button. It really helps my channel to grow. And as always, take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching. Bye now.